Hello and welcome. I'm Bimbo Ludi. Representative divided over deployment of military for 2015 elections. Former Nigerian leaders celebrate with Second Republic President Shehu Shagari as he turns 90. Amnesty International accuses Boko Haram and Nigerian military of committing crimes against humanity in the northeast. And FBI arrests 3 people trying to join ISIS.
On business news tonight, Senate benchmarks 2015 budget at $52 per barrel.
And on sports news, South Africa edges past Nigeria to reach the final of the ongoing CAF Under-17 Championship in Niger.
The international human rights organization Amnesty International this evening released a report alleging that the Nigerian military and the Boko Haram sect have committed crimes against humanity under international law in Nigeria's northeast. Amnesty International says it believes, from information available to it, that the Boko Haram sect is guilty of the allegations because of its violent campaign against the Nigerian state and its civilian population. The human rights group alleges that more than 4,000 civilians died in 2014 owing to the group's activities. The group believes that Boko Haram sect should be investigated for killings of civilians, imprisonment and abductions, forced marriages, rapes and sexual slavery, recruitment and the use of child soldiers, among others. And on the side of the military, Amnesty International believes the troops have committed crimes under international law, which may include deaths in custody, extrajudicial executions, torture and other cruel, inhuman or degrading treatment, arbitrary arrests and unlawful detentions. Amnesty International believes that the government of Nigeria has failed to take prompt and effective steps to investigate and hold accountable most perpetrators of serious crimes on all sides, including Boko Haram, Nigerian military forces and the Civilian Joint Task Force. The group has therefore advised the Nigerian government to initiate independent, impartial and thorough investigations into allegations of crimes under international law and also take immediate and effective measures to guarantee the safety, security and protection of civilians and their property. Now, scenes from today's session in the Federal House of Representatives. Disagreement between the members over military deployment for the 2015 general elections. The lawmakers today continued the debate over the role of soldiers during the polls, a debate which turned sour as members are divided, perhaps along party lines. The All Progressive Congress, which now has the majority of members in the House, has earlier voiced out its dissatisfaction over the intention to use the military for security purposes during the March 28 and April 11 polls, while the ruling People's Democratic Party supports the deployment of the military. Some of the leaders of the APC in the House are seen passionately defending their stance on the matter on the floor, leading to a heated argument with their PDP counterparts.
This was the scene at the proceedings of the House of Representatives. The day had started calmly. Tensions, however, rose when the report of a joint committee was to be presented. The report was on a motion urging the federal government not to deploy the military during the general elections. The chairman of the House Committee on Rules and Business was still reading the report when the first point of order was raised.
The objection raised by Honorable Karimi was that the case was pending in court. And that is what was referred to the committee. Now we have the chairman of Business and Rules actually debating. He's actually debating the motion by going to section 217.
His objection was, however, overruled.
This motion by Honorable Bajaber Miller is effectively caught in the cobweb of the Constitution and the House Standing Orders, and consequently should and must end its legislative adventure at this point of its trip.
The Speaker, in his wisdom, referred the issue to the committees on judiciary, justice, and business and rules. They have done their work, and the presentation by the chairman of Committee on Rules and Business, in his own words, captures the decision of these committees. I therefore am guided to sustain this order.
This ruling led to a rowdy session. The sergeant-at-arms watched the maze closely as emotions boiled over. Eventually, when order was restored, other points of order were raised.
It's a matter of public information. If there is an appeal, if there is a case, get the certified true copy and bring it to the house. You cannot just come and say a matter is in court.
My brother knows that there is a court case in respect of this subject matter. I have a copy of it here. I give it to you. Hold on, please. We don't need to shout. I will give it to you. The suit number is ID stroke. Please take the number down. ID stroke ADRO stroke 12 stroke 2015. I will give you a copy of it. Please hold on.
The Deputy Speaker then appealed for calm, but his appeal was ignored. Eventually, lawmakers of the All Progressive Congress walked out of the legislative chambers.
But we'll go back to the House and we will raise our motion again. We will raise our motion again. Because this thing will not die. No matter whichever way, however they attempt to do it, it will not die. It is unfortunate that we have a deputy speaker who sees himself as a deputy speaker of a party, compared to a speaker who sees himself as the speaker of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
They then walked back into the chamber, where they went on to oppose most of the matters being considered on the floor till plenary was adjourned for the day. It's not clear yet how the division created by this matter will affect key legislation still pending before the House, such as the 2015 Appropriation Bill. Lanre Lasese, Channels Television News.
The former Minister of State for Defense, Senator Musiliu Obanikoro, returned to the Senate today for clearance as nominee of President Goodluck Jonathan. After several hours, Mr. Obanikoro and his entourage left the National Assembly, having been asked to return at a later date. Mr. Obanikoro resigned his ministerial position to run for the governorship primaries of Lagos State on the platform of the People's Democratic Party, but lost to Mr. Jimmy Agbaje. The names of 8 ministerial nominees were initially sent by President Goodluck Jonathan, and their screening has been postponed to next Tuesday. Supporters of the All Progressive Congress, APC, have expressed concern over an alleged attempt by the People's Democratic Party to frustrate the decision of the Independent National Electoral Commission to employ the use of card readers in the forthcoming general elections. The Director of Media and Information for the group, Mr. Chidi Madueke, told journalists during a press conference in Abuja that the ruling party has been sponsoring media campaigns to frustrate INEC's decision to employ the use of card readers during the polls. According to him, the group will reject any such attempt that could impact negatively on the credibility of the forthcoming general elections.
We certainly shall not subscribe to any script that is centered on how to oust Jega by forcefully sending him on terminal leave, replacing him with another Muslim professor considered to be more pliable a successor. Such a scenario demanding for more time to enable new commission chair to settle down before holding any election is another shifting of the goalpost. In line with the above scenario, we are presently witnessing several pro-government TV and radio talk show commentators as they mold public opinion on the issue that INEC has not tested this card reader in any previous local election and should not use the presidential and national polls to do so. We are convinced that the real objective of such propaganda is to eventually force INEC to eliminate the card readers in order to make vote rigging easier. We say no.
Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party has accused the All Progressive Congress of deceiving Nigerians with unrealistic campaign promises. At a news conference in Abuja, the National Publicity Secretary of the party, Mr. Olisa Metu, says the All Progressive Congress, if elected, is planning to impose a new tax regime which will raise company tax from 30% to 45% and personal income tax to 32%. Mr. Metu challenged the APC to explain to Nigerians how they would fulfill their promises with the prevailing 40% drop in national income and dwindling oil price in the international market.
The APC, in one of its phantom promises, said that it would pay a stipend of 5,000 naira each to 25 million poor Nigerians monthly until they are employed. This gives a total of 125 billion naira each month and 1.5 trillion every year. Note this. What is baffling is that the APC knows fully well that this is not only unrealistic but also impracticable in a nation with an estimated budget of a little over 4 trillion, comprising recurrent and capital expenditures. Yet, they continue to dish out to unsuspecting citizens in a clear bid to mislead. Also, the deceitful tendency of the APC came to light in its promise to create 740,000 direct jobs in the 36 states, in each of the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT within 1 year, while on the other hand, promising to create 1 million jobs for Igbo youths also within the same period. We ask, which do we believe?
More reactions continue to trail the debate on the deployment of the military for the 2015 general elections, as politicians are now divided on the matter. The view of the Labour Party is that soldiers should not be given any role to play in the forthcoming polls. The governorship candidate of the Labour Party in Delta State, Mr. Great Ogboru, at a press conference in Lagos today, says deployment of the military for the elections will take away civility from the process.
About deploying soldiers to elections, I think it is undemocratic. I believe strongly that we should not deploy soldiers to any elections whatsoever. But because we have become a nation that anything goes, we even have people come to the polling booth with guns and cutlasses and matches, they take things, stop ballot boxes, and nothing happens. It's unfortunate. But I will never, in spite of all of these shortcomings, support that we should deploy soldiers to any polling unit, because you take away the civility of the process, and that is not good for democracy. As Democrats, we should be more responsible. We should be more responsible, and our responsibility should be our ability to police ourselves and police our environment.
In part two, after the break, more outbursts over difficulty in collecting the permanent voter card. Please stay with us.